Welcome to an exciting half hour of Caribbean Connection with special guest Dr. Clair Nelson, who will share some insights about National Caribbean American Heritage Month celebrations. Plus, Glenn Hartmann brings us highlights from local festivities in Springfield. Paul Wilson will introduce us to the Springfield Caribbean Folk Singers. Our musical guests, the Mighty Sparrow and the JDX Band. All this coming up on Caribbean Connection. Caribbean Connection is supported in part by Amherst Cultural Council, Holyoke Cultural Council, Springfield Cultural Council, and West Springfield Cultural Council. All local agencies supported by the Massachusetts Cultural Council and sponsored by the Caribbean American Heritage Month Celebration Committee, celebrating June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. And now, your hosts, Jeremy Lindsay and Maurice Lindsay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Caribbean Connection. I'm Jeremy Lindsay.
And I'm Maurice Lindsay. During this episode, we'll celebrate National Caribbean American Heritage Month with great conversations and festivities.
And I'll be introducing you to one of Caribbean's biggest recording artists, the Mighty Sparrow. But first, here to kick things off is the JDX Band with their song titled Money.
Money, and I'm the king of this world. I'm the big bad boy and the big bad boss.
Yes, my name is God.
My name is Money, and I'm the king of this world. I'm the big bad boy and the big bad boss.
Yes, my name is God.
Money never sleep, money never take no part-time job. For I've got to keep my fame. I've got to keep the cash flow, yes. When you hear the bang bang shooting on the street and children dying, the drugs on the street, the cops on the beat, that's money running. Everywhere we turn it's crime and persecution. When it's all said and done, for people crying. My name is Money, and I'm the king of this world. I'm the big bad boy and the big bad boss.
Yes, my name is God.
My name is Money, and I'm the king of this world. I'm the big bad boy and the big bad boss. Yes, my name is Cash. Look around the world and see they all try to get me. They fall into my trap. You got to believe it. And everyone played.
Joining us now to talk about National Caribbean American Heritage Month is Dr. Clair Nelson. Dr. Nelson, welcome to Caribbean Connection.
The goal of having National Caribbean American Heritage Month is really twofold. Well, threefold actually. One, we wanted to ensure that Caribbean people were recognized as a visible force in American context, in American quilt. We say we're a nation of immigrants, and to some extent we were recognized individually, and we were recognized in terms of our culture, for example, reggae music being very popular in the US, but we were not recognized as a collective. So number one, it was to give us some visibility. The second reason was to give us some voice. As I said before, we're doing very well individually. There are lots of individual successes we could name. I mean, right now in the US, for example, the National Security Advisor has Caribbean roots. Her grandfather is from Jamaica. So individually we're doing quite well. But as a collective force that can impact on the US context, I thought we need to have more voice. And finally, to give us agency, to help us as a collective recognize that the American democracy works because people work it, that is not enough to be individually successful. But if we are to continue, quote unquote, living the American dream and having more immigrants from the Caribbean come and experience the same opportunity, then we had to become more of assume more power, if you will, in the US context, which means organizing ourselves to be a collective force to advocate for our goals at the local, state, and federal level. And so the development of Caribbean American Heritage Month as a space for identification and for collective development is really what the month for me, and certainly for Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who helped to get the bill passed, who took the lead in getting the bill passed. I think this is what it's all about. Actually, we started the work on Caribbean American Heritage Month back in 1999 with the Clinton White House, but it was like a stab in the dark. We didn't know how it's going to happen. So I was delighted when a staff person who is also of Caribbean heritage in Congresswoman Barbara Lee's office approached me saying that her boss wanted to do something for Caribbean Americans, as she had been a staffer with Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, the first African American black woman to run for Congress and to run for the presidency, who happens to be of Caribbean heritage. And so she very much appreciated the good things that Caribbean immigrants brought to America. So Barbara Lee, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, without her help and her leadership, the month would not have happened. And she continues to be very, I would say, participatory with us, not only for the month, but also in other things we do on the Hill to keep the Caribbean voice moving forward. But I find also that some smaller spaces, like here in Springfield, I was very excited when 2 years ago or 3 years ago I found out that Springfield was doing something. And small cities, I think, don't have to feel like, they're being overshadowed by the larger cities, because it's not a month that's meant to be inward looking. We want the space to be one where people of Caribbean heritage demonstrate their culture, demonstrate their contributions to the wider community. So many people ask why we should celebrate June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. But there are certainly more than 30 reasons, because there are more than 30 people who have contributed to the fabric, the tapestry that is the American quilt. And so we invite you to note the historical facts that make it so that Caribbean people that have come to this country sing America. And always, every June, celebrate Caribbean American Heritage Month and celebrate Caribbean American contributions to American life.
Caribbean Connection will return with Paul Wilson introducing the Springfield Caribbean Folk Singers, and more music ahead from the Mighty Sparrow. Next.
America is a nation of immigrants, a melting pot of cultures and peoples, including Caribbean, who contribute to the rich diversity of American society, like Joseph Sadler, aka Grandmaster Flash, Karine Jean-Pierre, Borin Toussaint, Derek Luke, Kamala Harris, Reno Wilson, Heather Headley. We honor their contributions and commemorate June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Join us, celebrate June.
We will continue with our look at local festivities commemorating National Caribbean American Heritage Month. But first, it's time for more music on Caribbean Connection. Our next guest is an internationally renowned calypsonian. Here is the legendary Mighty Sparrow.
I think pack up some clothes to leave because John was drugging out. All alone he was left to me. She had an ex-man and son. She said, openly, I really love you, Johnny. You will have no money. So what will my future be, even though you say you love me? We can't love without money. We can't make love on hungry belly. Johnny, please.
Mighty Sparrow. That was awesome. And now here is how local cities across the country and here in Western Massachusetts have celebrated National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Paul Wilson is a member of the Caribbean Folk Singers based here in Springfield, Massachusetts, and they've performed at one of our celebration events. Paul, welcome to Caribbean Connection.
I could say I ended up being, at points, being like the lead, and the way the group was functioning and focused was a pool of voices, and we were just a team. And, you know, I mean, we have a lead singer, but basically I was the heavy voice. I would say the group is a pool of voices that lend some kind of credence to our Caribbean culture, our Jamaican culture, and the religious entity as is. Because, as you know, folk songs can be cultural, can be religious, can be humorous. When I came to Springfield, I moved to Springfield in 1995, went to the military, came home in 2000, and for some reason that connection was made, it just hit a nerve. I give credit to them ladies, what they did with what they had and what we could find here. They put together skirts and they had a top for a different, like white for a church, and depending on what we had. But then they inspired me so much that I went to Jamaica. I found the material and I got the skirts. So we got one traditional and one slightly off, colorful, and they would add the head wraps and whatever blouses is it. So that is just like part of the props too.
And when the war was over and everything was scarce, and man was experimenting with things to fill his space, we had a lot of food, but the meat was out of stock. So we get a plan we recommend, we keep on fall back, keep on fall back, keep on fall back. My advice, there is nothing nice like keep on fall back.
I mean, if you hear somebody on a solely audio performance, it's a big difference from seing them.
Exactly.
So
yeah, the whole package just kind of bring it all together to see it visually.
So they had a varied mix when it comes to presenting. I left that to them. I got they helped me out too. I got different shirts, I got a vest, depending on where we were. I mean, we introduced the vest, but we had a performance at STCC, and they were just coming up with simple ways of, taking it to the next level in terms of how the presentation was accepted. So, not a problem. Like I said, it's part of our culture and our heritage, and we share it. Yeah. I'm Paul Wilson, and just stay tuned for more Caribbean Connection. It never ends.
It's time for more music on Caribbean Connection. Performing another song for us, here is the JDX Band with a song titled Natty Rise.
Against your fear, to know yourself, to live it out. There's no room for compromise in this life that we are living. The truth will always be true, yes. There's no black and white in this time. Mankind must know themselves, you see. For in this life the struggle will be dread, dread, dread. always be. The fate of one man is the fate of all. So let them know the truth again, I say. There is no compromise, no, in this life we're living.
Not you wise,
Against your fears,
not you wise,
to face the truth,
not you wise,
to know yourself.
not you wise.
Live up, 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 live up. Rootsman, you got to face the truth, yeah. For the Son of Jah has come.
Coming up, more music from Calypso music legend, the Mighty Sparrow, and highlights from local celebrations of National Caribbean American Heritage Month in Western Massachusetts, when Caribbean Connection continues. Next.
America is a nation of immigrants, a melting pot of cultures and peoples including Caribbean who contribute to the rich diversity of American society, like Joy Reid, Edwidge Danticat, Alexander Hamilton, Anne-Marie Campbell, Dougie Fred, Patrick Ewing, Nicki Minaj. We honor their contributions and commemorate June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Join us, celebrate June.
Welcome back to Caribbean Connection. Joining us now is Glenn Hartmann, Chairman of the Western Massachusetts chapter of the National Caribbean American Heritage Month Celebration Committee, as we highlight some of the past festivities.
We are located here in Western Massachusetts. We are one of just a few chapters here in Massachusetts, part of the national organization. So June was named Caribbean American Heritage Month. So we decided to put together a nonprofit organization, Caribbean American Heritage Month Celebration Committee. And we became a nonprofit which helped with our fundraising. And our goal was to celebrate Caribbean heritage and Caribbean history and all the great things that come out of the Caribbean, the music especially, the combination of the Caribbean and Vietnamese community coming together and collaborating, and that way we could get the big tent and afford it and split our costs. It was a very successful event. Getting the Mighty Sparrow to come and play for us, to perform.
We had quite a lineup of people there, from dancers.
Yeah.
We had Latin dancers. We had the Caribbean Folk Singers.
Yes.
We had a lot of different bands, local bands, from Connecticut to Springfield, Mass. That performed. I know the JDX our band performed, Artie Wallace performed, a number of local folks just banding together, coming out and supporting to make a long day of just fantastic live entertainment, because
Yes.
the entire thing was being broadcast live the whole time.
So we have done a lot of collaboration over the years. So we decided we would do the Caribbean Festival on Saturday, and Sunday the Vietnamese community would come in and do a Vietnamese festival. And both worked out very, very well. Great sound system, great stage. It was a nice tent, a great turnout, beautiful day. We did so well. People just kept coming back and saying, when are you going to do it again? When are you going to do it again?
So the flag raising ceremony is very significant. Each time we mark the occasion at the beginning of June at City Hall. Usually the mayor comes out and make a few remarks, and his staff and the city council people, and the first year that we did it was very big, because that's when we handed out the awards to Ms. Vera and to Marcel Marcellus from the fire department.
The Cricket Hall of Fame is in Connecticut. And I believe it was Roseanne that brought it to our attention. and you went down and had some conversation with the members from the Hall of Fame. And I believe that's where we said we got in touch with the different cricket groups and said, well, let's put on a cricket event here.
Lowell Hawthorne was our guest there. Both him and Dr. Nelson, very inspiring speech.
But he gave such a powerful speech, and I felt so bad for Dr. Nelson. I said, how can anybody follow this? And then Dr. Nelson came on and gave just a more inspiring speech. It was just fantastic. It was an event that, so sorry, people who weren't there missed out on.
Why don't you stay tuned for more Caribbean Connections with Maurice Lindsay.
America is a nation of immigrants, a melting pot of cultures and people including Caribbean who contribute to the rich diversity of American society. Eric Holder, Gwen Eiffel, Alfonso Ribeiro, Maxwell, Clair Nelson, Slita Ibans, Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, Shirley Ralph. We honor their contributions and commemorate June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Celebrate June.
Welcome back to Caribbean Connection. It's my pleasure to again introduce an international Caribbean music icon and a true pioneer of Caribbean music. This is Mighty Sparrow.
That brings us to the end of another exciting episode of Caribbean Connection. To learn more about Caribbean American Heritage Month, visit their website at cahmcc.com. Thanks to all of our guests, and we thank you for watching Caribbean Connection.
We hope you enjoyed your journey with us on this special edition of Caribbean Connection, celebrating National Caribbean American Heritage Month. To learn more about our program series and provide any comments, visit us online at lindsayent.com, and we'll see you next time on Caribbean Connection.
Caribbean Connection is supported in part by Amherst Cultural Council, Holyoke Cultural Council, Springfield Cultural Council, and West Springfield Cultural Council, all local agencies supported by the Massachusetts Cultural Council, and sponsored by the Caribbean American Heritage Month Celebration Committee, celebrating June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Caribbean Connection is a production of Lindsay Entertainment Network.